He would be a good addition. Now, who could I be talking about? Could I be talking about the Buccaneers wide receiver Mike Evans being traded to the Chiefs? Could I be talking about the Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins possibly being traded to the Chiefs? Or is there a third option that has not been mentioned that could be a potential wide receiver target for the Kansas City Chiefs? We're going to find out on today's show. I'm Jace Andrews. You're watching the Chiefs Report. Let's roll. What's going on, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome into today's show. But before we get into the wide receiver room and maybe some trade targets, some Twitter shout-outs are in order. Now, I told y'all yesterday that if you followed me on Twitter, if you're one of the first 5 followers, you were going to get a shout-out on today's show. And these were the first 5. Shout-out to Ron Heath, Braden Perez, Bondi Aaron, Chris Idle, and Splash Bros TV. Huge shout-out to you 5. And if you want to get on a future Chiefs report, well, all you got to do, follow me on Twitter at JaceAndrews_. I'm talking Chiefs all the time, talking football, having a good time there, just as we do here on the Chiefs report. So you want a Twitter shout out? Follow me. You could have a chance to be on a future show. All right, let's get into today's topic, and that is the wide receiver room and what exactly could be the fix. Now, it's no surprise, well, rather no secret, that on Thursday, the big problem was not Patrick Mahomes. It was not the lack of Chris Jones. It was the wide receiving core. The stats really don't lie, but where could the help come from in terms of getting that wide receiver help? Could it come internally or maybe through a trade? Now, trade targets have been talked about throughout the NFL over the past couple days, and we're going to kind of explore some of those options on today's show. But before we get into it, I have to know if y'all even think this is a good idea. Should the Chiefs trade for a wide receiver? I want you to type T for trade if you think the Chiefs need to trade for a wide receiver, or type P for pass if you think this wide receiver room has the ability to do what's needed and what it's asked of by Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes to catch the ball and hopefully lead this team to another deep playoff run and hopefully a Super Bowl in this year. But again, get in the comments. Let me know what you think. Type T for trade if you think we need to trade for a receiver, and type P for pass if you think the Chiefs are going to be all right just with what they have. Now, in my opinion, this would be a huge boost. I think that trading for a true wide receiver 1 would be a huge boost to this squad because it's not hard to see there's no wide receiver 1 on this team. Kadarius Toney was supposed to be that. He had 3 drops on Thursday night. Marquez Valdez-Scantling looked good, but he only had 2 targets. And Skyy Moore ran the second most routes of the entire Chiefs wide receiving core, and yet only had 3 targets, and one of those he dropped. Now, was it an amazing pass? No, but it hit his hands. And if you ask any wide receiver, if it hits your hands, it should be a catch. So I'm going to explore some trade targets because I think we need to. And my first option is Mike Evans. I talked about this the past couple of shows, and I think it's a very viable option. He's a 30-year-old veteran guy that the stats don't lie. He's a guy who's been a 1,000-yard receiver consistently throughout his career. And since being drafted in 2014, he's top 3 in both wide receiving yards and touchdowns, 81 touchdowns. He's not that hard to see why Mike Evans would be a good option. But why is he the option that could work? Well, he set a September 9th hard deadline to reach an extension with the Buccaneers. Obviously, that deadline has now passed. And since then, the Buccaneers have stated saying that the plan is to keep Mike Evans throughout the 2023 season. But he's on the last year of that 5-year, $82.5 million deal he signed back in 2018. So if I'm the Buccaneers and I have a good chance of not keeping Mike Evans next year, why not trade him and get something for him? And this trade proposed that I've seen kind of floating around, that's not bad for both sides. The Chiefs get Mike Evans. Obviously, they'll have to pay him either next year or get a contract extension going this year. But no matter what, the Buccaneers will receive a 2024 third-round pick and Richie James. I think it's overall a good option for both sides. The Buccaneers could be a surprise team maybe with Baker Mayfield, but I think the odds are that in the, not going to lie, not so great division, there's not much to really plan for this season. So with that being said, with kind of that argument laid out, do you think the Chiefs should trade for Mike Evans? I want you to type Y for yes, or you type N for no. And if you type N for no, let me know why. Because I think Evans, if the Buccaneers are willing to do that trade, take it. Take it and run with it because you get a true wide receiver one to add to this Chiefs squad, and then you get Travis Kelce back. You're going to have him back within the next 2 weeks. You're saying this offense with Patrick Mahomes, Mike Evans, and Travis Kelce isn't going to be electric? I like that option a lot. So again, type Y for yes or type N for no. If you type no, let me know why you think it wouldn't be a good option. All right, before we get into my second trade target, I need your help. We are so close to 45,000 here on the Chiefs Report. And if you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Because we only need 115 more people to subscribe to the Chiefs Report to reach 45,000. And if you're in the market for informative, entertaining, and just some good times talking about the Chiefs, then subscribe. Again, youtube.com/ChiefsTV, or you can click that little red subscribe button right below the video. All right, let's go to my second wide receiver trade target, option number 2, T. Higgins. Now, Higgins is not technically a wide receiver 1. I would say he's a wide receiver 1.5, but that's because he's with the Bengals, who have Jamar Chase. Now, we talked about why Mike Evans could be an option. Well, here's why T. Higgins could be an option. See, he didn't reach a contract extension with the Bengals, and apparently the Bengals said that T. Higgins is not in their future plans. Apparently, the contract extension talks were very far off in terms of money, and Higgins could be on the move. He's been a trade idea going throughout the NFL for the past couple of years. This could be the year we finally see that happen. And again, what the stats don't lie with T as well. I mean, 2022 had a really good year. 1,000-yard receiver, 7 touchdowns. Oh, and by the way, he also was on the same team as Jamar Chase and still had those stats. So he's a guy that would be, again, a good target. He's going to be a good addition. He would be, because then you get a wide receiver 1. I mentioned he's kind of a wide receiver 1.5 with the Bengals, but that's because they have Jamar Chase. You add him to this Chiefs squad, I think this team just skyrockets in terms of offensive ability. And Thursday, it wasn't the offense that hurt the team, or rather, it was the offense who hurt the team. I originally thought it was going to be the defense that was going to struggle, but they held the Lions to 14 points. 7 of those came off the hands of Kadarius Toney. Okay, with these 2 wide receiver trade targets laid out, which one would you rather have? Say the Bengals and the Buccaneers came to you with similar options, 3rd-round pick, and Richie James, Justin Watson, someone lower on the totem pole in the wide receiver room. Which of these 2 would you rather have? If you'd rather have Mike Evans, who's a little bit older but more experienced, then type ME. If you'd rather have T. Higgins, who's a younger talent but doesn't have necessarily as much of a track record as Mike Evans, type TH. Again, ME for Mike Evans or TH for T. Higgins. Let me know in the comments below. And heck, if you want to go the extra mile, let me know why you think Mike Evans or T. Higgins, because both are pretty good options. It'd be kind of cool to see if the Chiefs could make a move here. Now, there's another one I want to explore. I hinted at it in the intro, but let's get wild. Let's talk about maybe a guy who has an outside chance of being traded this season that would be a huge addition to the squad. Now, if you're a little confused on who I'm talking about, well, I'm talking about this guy right here, Justin Jefferson. And the reason why I'm mentioning him is because he didn't sign a contract extension with the Vikings. Now reports are being said that they're just going to try and talk about it more later after the season. But say the Vikings fall off, they're not playing well, crazier things have happened. I mean, what can I say? You never know what could happen. I think it's an outside shot, but it's a guy that I'd say throw an offer out there. See what happens. See if they're willing to even listen to it, because, heck, you get Justin Jefferson, put the ring on him already. So, again, crazier things have happened. Who knows? But overall, I think the Chiefs would be smart to at least just go out and explore opportunities with Evans or Higgins. And shoot, why not throw an offer out there for Jay Jettas? All right, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the Chiefs Report, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. We're going to have all your content this week, getting ready now for the Jaguars game coming up for week 2 on Sunday next week. Peace out.